Mr. Chair.
Harold, I'm called. Phil Twyford.
Mr. Chairman, the theme that underlies this whole debate, sir, is democracy, and a number of colleagues have referred to the debates that took place during the passage of the Super City legislation, and we debated long and hard the pros and cons of the Royal Commission model and the model that was then proposed and adopted by the National Government and Rodney Hyde as Local Government Minister. And Jacinda Ardern spoke very eloquently about the local board structure in the Auckland Super City, how little real power, virtually no regulatory power whatsoever, limited budgets. And she spoke about how many of the local boards have eked out a role for themselves. And I think it's fair to say that the model that was adopted essentially sees the local boards as an advocacy platform. They're kind of a public engagement mechanism, if you like, for the Super City. There is not much in the way of control of resources and assets. There's not much in the way of rule or regulation making. And that has always, I think, been the Achilles heel in the structure, that it centralises so much power in the governing body of Auckland Council. The flip side to that is that the governing body and the mayor have a powerful mandate and clear accountability and a great deal of ability to lead and provide leadership. And we've seen that, sir, in the debate about Auckland's transport agenda, where Len Brown has led very, very strongly on building a world-class transport system for Auckland. And we've seen successive ministers, Stephen Joyce, Jerry Brownlee, have stood as human roadblocks in the way of the aspirations of the people of Auckland for a modern public transport system. The local boards have no mandate, no power to articulate those aspirations, and it's really left to the governing body and the mayor to do so. And it's all credit, I think, to Len Brown that he's successfully rolled over Jerry Brownlee and Stephen Joyce on the issue of the City Rail Link. He has rolled them over on the question of the City Rail Link and won that battle. So they were just, Stephen Joyce and Jerry Brownlee were just the latest of the generals sent by Wellington to subdue the natives. The last one, sir, on this general theme of democracy around the local boards is that I think it's fair to say that both the council organisations, the governing body and the local boards have stood up and for their communities. They've stood up and articulated the aspirations for their communities, and that is, I think, a triumph for the democratic spirit. The last of the generals sent from Wellington to quell the Aucklanders was Maurice Williamson, who thought that he could, in the flush from his celebrity status in the gay marriage debate, from his non-appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, he thought, sir, that he could try his luck in Auckland, and it was up to David Farrer to tell him that he was 25 points behind in the opinion polls. And it was only a few days later that Maurice Williamson withdrew with his tail between his legs, sir. So that is, along with the story of these local boards, it is really a victory, I think, for the democratic spirit and the ability of good people in their communities to make the best of a heavily centralised governance model, to make these local boards work, to stand up for their communities, to use the boards as a platform to make proposals, to engage with the local alcohol plans and the liquor licensing units that Jacinda Ardern talked about, to participate in the debate around Auckland's unitary plan, as they have done. All these things, sir, I think are a credit to the people who put themselves up for election to serve their communities through these local boards. And in spite of the efforts of a roll call of national ministers who have set out to constrain Auckland democracy, one after the other, they've been sent packing. And it's true, I think, that Aucklanders have made the Super City work in spite of the best efforts of many government ministers and mayoral candidates. And that, I think, is something that we should be very grateful for. And it's appropriate and to remember this at the time of the local government elections.
Mr Chair.
The Honourable Chris Tremaine.
Mr Chair, I feel duty bound to respond to the number of the claims that have been made by the opposition